Hey everyone, welcome to another Etheria restart video, and today we're going to go over what happened for my account over day 3 and day 4. Currently it is the start of day 5, so I am a little bit above where I was at the end of day 4, but just to go back on where I was at in the previous days, at the end of day 3 I was at level 29. Therefore, you could expect to be roughly around level 28 to 29 at the end of your day 3. And then at the end of day 4, I was level 33. And the main story unlocked at level 30. So I did that during day 4 and completed it. It is a little bit tougher than the previous, well, pretty much every single storyline before that. Those were generally pretty easy. But the chapter 10 fight can be a little bit more trickier. But I managed to pull some units to help me, because initially when I did the Hell Kid fight, I wiped and I was stuck on that particular fight. But I did pull some new units before I tried it again. I pulled a Rosa from my natural summons, and I used the well, previously I had Giada built, but I reconfigured her and took all those materials and put it into Rosa instead. And then as soon as I did that, I was able to clear the Hell Kid, and then the last boss I was able to kill it straight away as well. And then that will unlock the highest investigation stages for your experience. And you should clear these at least once to get some of the first clear rewards. You can farm the experience if you need experience, right? But with the double experience event most likely coming up in the next few days, don't over farm the experience at this point, because there are more important things that you should farm outside of experience, right? If you need it, I did farm a little bit because I needed to star up one of my units. If that's the case, you can do some of it, but don't focus all of your attention there. Now, aside from that, another unit I got was Rilmocha. Now, I ended up using my targeted selector banner to pick Rilmocha, and it's at this point where you start to consider whether you want a Rilmocha or not. If you've already pulled her, then great, you can keep saving your targeted summon. Or maybe you could use it to pick up a Rosa or something like that, depending on what tickles your fancy. In my opinion, these 3 DPS are the most ideal to have at this point. Lian will cover, the red as a red DPS. You have, Rilmocha as your green DPS and Rosa as your blue DPS, and that will cover each of the different elements, and also gives you more options for PvP, because I was doing PvP previously with just Giada and Lian, and when I find that whenever people picked my Lian, which is quite common, right? Most people are building a Lian, then I only have Giada left as my DPS, and if they ban it, I basically have no damage on my team. Therefore, having 3 DPS is quite nice if you want to do RTA, assuming you don't have the great LD SSRs, right? For me, I only have 1, which is Lily. But if you have things like Messiah, High and Rich, you'll probably be okay with running without all 3 of these DPS. But this just gives you some more options, right? You want to be able to pick at least 2 DPS in your lineup. That way, if they ban one of them, you still have 1 DPS to fight with. And also, they also cover all the different dungeons, right? Lian's great for Terramaton, Rilmocha's for Dokidoki, and then Rosa is for Aurora. Although you can use Rosa in Dokidoki as well if you want. Now, these are the units I focused on, right? Mostly these 3. Dina for the defense down on red. Chiaki is great as like a generic turn booster and attack buffer, and you can run her in pretty much any element, even though she'll be at a disadvantage in the red element dungeons. But that's still okay as long as she's tanky enough. That's fine, because she doesn't need to do damage. She's just here to buff your team and give them turn meter. And therefore it doesn't really matter if she is at a elemental disadvantage. I have the red Chiaki. This is my healer before I got Sanya, and she's still fine as like an additional option for certain dungeons. She does have a little bit of utility with the heal. She also does like the damage reduction buff, which is quite nice. I haven't really focused too much on her. I just have left her built in like a, just like a cheap like set. Mostly just as a filler unit, because I use Sanya most of the time as my main healer, and if you have her, this is the ideal healer to use for quite a while. We will get a Ling Lo on day 7, however, she does require SSR lattices, which are very expensive, and you'll probably want to be using those on your DPS instead. Therefore, I think Sanya is the best to focus on in the early game, because she's the SR skill ups, right? And these are a lot more easier to obtain, right? These purple ones. Therefore, yeah, you want to try to get a Sanya if you can, and when you do, you should focus her for your early game. Then I have Lily, who's on like a spare speed set at the moment, mostly just for PvP. She has some PvE applications, but I think in general you don't really need her. I think the other units will pretty much like all these other units are the primary units I use in PvE. But she's still a good unit, and yeah, I'm not going to complain. Unfortunately, she is my only SSR, LD SSR, and I know a lot of people have multiple LD SSRs, so they're pretty lucky. Now, as for the stages that you should be focusing on day 3, what I mostly did was shells on Febian Nightmare, right? So I was able to clear it. I will show you the team that I used to clear it. Now, actually, I've changed the team since I first cleared it. When I first cleared it, I used Dina instead of Rosa, because I only got Rosa on day 4. So initially, this is my team. I'll show you the stats. Actually, the stats are a little different to when I was doing them too, but these are what they are at the moment. With your Lian, most likely you'll be on Onslaught and Harvest, and I actually moved the Twilight Knight that had those matrices onto my Rilmocha instead, right? So this shell was originally on my Lian, and also this whole set was also on Lian before. But I moved it over to Rilmocha for Dokidoki, which I'll go over in a second. But yeah, so this is the Lian stats currently. This is Sanya's stats. Most of these matrices are not leveled up, but ideally you want to run her with as much HP as you can. Speed, you mostly just get it off the shell. Make sure you have like a fully leveled shell with so that you get the bonus 20 speed, and then whatever speed subs that you can get off your Wellspring and Cure sets is what you run with. She doesn't need to be super fast, mostly needs to have a lot of HP, because the HP is what scales her healing. And having a Cure set is really helpful for improving her healing, and this is what I would recommend to try to set her up with when just for general progression. Then Chiaki the Echo is on your best speed set. You just want to get as much speed subs as possible, and then the speed matrices to make up the full 12 set Swift Rush set. Offset, I'm using Bramble. You could use any offset you really want. It doesn't matter too much. It just so happens that this for this Black Flag, Bramble was the secondary set, and it was the best one I could find at the time. And I'm just running that with Bramble so that she gets a bit of extra defense. So just make her as fast as possible, and then after that, just make her a little bit tanky. You want to focus your skill ups to max out her S3, and then you should also work on Sanya's S3. I should just take note of that. This will increase her healing, and ideally you want to reduce the cooldown by 1 as well. I'm not quite there yet, but that's my next goal. And then Dina is your debuffer for this fight, mostly for the defense break, and just run her on Swift. If you can get her some accuracy, that would be nice. The more the better. and then try to also max her S3 as well to reduce the cooldown. And I highly recommend the White Gale shell at the moment, because this one will has a chance, I believe, to increase the debuff duration. So you will actually find a lot of the time that she'll apply a 3-turn defense break, which is great because it lasts a lot longer. So that's why I like this White Gale quite a lot for progression. And it also has like a buff, a self buff for more accuracy, and she wants accuracy, of course. Aside from that, just try to make her tanky if you can. You want to focus on accuracy and like HP or defense for your core pieces. And don't worry too much about her damage. She does do like decent damage, but she's primarily there as a debuffer. So this is my Febian team. You want to do Febian 120 times for the achievement and complete that. Get it out of the way early on, while Febian's still relevant to you, right? Once you've done the 120, then you move on to Whitney and try to do complete her one, which is what I'm currently doing. And I can just show you the team which I am currently doing right now. My team's not 100% stable, but it's fairly decent. So for both Febian and Whitney, you want to make sure you focus the boss. I forgot to mention that for Febian. But once you can do auto, just select the boss as the primary target. Because you don't really want to waste time killing all the ads, they just get resummoned again. And on Febian, it's a DPS race, and you can't really afford to waste time killing the ads. They don't do a lot. You just want to kill the boss as quick as possible. The team I'm running is basically the same as what I was running for Febian, except now I have Rosa, and Rosa, you just run her on a DPS set. You can also run her on a speed set if you want, like a speed with DPS substats and cores on the right hand side. It's sort of up to you. She's pretty flexible, right? This might fail, but I don't mind failing, once or twice, as long as I can complete it. Because I want to do as much as this before Niconana unlocks. Because once she unlocks, I'm going to be doing that most of the time, because now we get access to red shells. And of course, these are going to be massive upgrades. They're the highest quality shells, and like White Fang is great for your DPS. You want that, and Gigabyte is quite good for your support units. And those are the two main ones I want to try for. This one's mostly for tanks. It's not that useful in my opinion. And this one is like a self cleanse, which is quite nice in PvP. So you may want to keep some good ones of this one for PvP, and also especially for your healers. This is quite nice for healers too, because it prevents them from being crowd controlled, right? So that will be the goal for day 5, to try to push Niconana. And additionally, for some more progression, you will want to start farming some of the modules. I wouldn't over farm it too much, but it is nice to get some of your starting gear here from here on out. You want to try to clear Nightmare if you can, but it is reasonable to clear some hard 3 if you just need some gear to fill out your supports and stuff like that, because this is where your Swift will drop. Ideally, try to do at least Nightmare 1, because then the outstanding quality will start dropping, and these are the ones that you would like to level up to +9 or +12. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb for me, if it's left side gear, I usually will take it to roughly +9, and then right side gear, you can take it up to +12. You could potentially +15 it if you feel like it's really going to help you push you through the next difficulty. However, I would try to save up the coins for that, for when you get these mythic quality ones, which are the highest quality. And the reason is because these are very expensive to level up. Even with 8 million, this will go very quickly once I start upgrading these mythic quality gear. That's why we've been trying to minimize the amount we spend on gear. But once you get to, if you can get to Nightmare 3, I think it's worth farming here, because you would like to have this gear for progressing in Hell. Hell is going to start getting like ramping up in difficulty a lot. Even Nightmare ramps up in difficulty significantly from Hard 3, and this is sort of where the units you use will start to matter. Now I'll show you my Nightmare 3 team, and this will, generally speaking, will translate over to Hell difficulty. It's more just I need to upgrade some of the gear now. So I'm using Rilmocha, and this is why I think if you don't have a Rilmocha at this point, you should consider trying to get her on your targeted banner. I'm using Rosa here as my secondary DPS. She also mostly is here to buff crit rate. Her follow-ups are nice for DPS. If you do not have a Rosa, that's fine. Just run a Grey instead. Right, you can just use Grey. Mine's not leveled because I'm not using any male characters as a personal preference. But if you're not under that type of restriction, just run Grey, and then the rest of the team you can pretty easily copy Chiaki, Kazuya, and Sanya, or SR units. So there's a reasonable chance you will have them by now. Kazuya you can pick out of one of the selector boxes that should be in your inventory by now. You can select between her, Turandot, which is a red unit, and another blue unit. I forgot the name. But out of that box, you should pick Kazuya, especially if you do not have her right now. If you already have her, then that's fine. You just use her. You don't need to pick an imprint for her. And yeah, then you just use Chiaki and Sanya. Eventually, you'll probably take out Sanya once you're comfortable clearing it, and you don't need the healing. This is more when you have a strong enough Rilmocha to one-shot the waves. But for now, while you're progressing, your Rilmocha is probably not strong enough to one-shot the whole wave, and for that reason, you will have Sanya here as a sustain unit while you're progressing through the higher difficulties. And that is the Dokidoki team that I used to clear. My team's not 100% success rate, but it clears most of the time. So at that point, I'm trying to clear some of this to get a little bit more gear that's worth upgrading onto my main units, especially the units on this particular team. For Terramaton, I haven't cleared Nightmare 3 yet, but I have cleared Nightmare 2. I'll show you the team that I'm currently running. Okay, so this is basically what I'm running. If you do not have a Rilmocha, well, I guess you probably will have a Rilmocha if you're picking her for the Dokidoki team, so you can just run her here. But you can use like any other red unit. You can use like Veronica as well if you want. Turandot's okay. Chloros is good. You can also use Victor. Dieting is good too. Like you just want good single target DPS if you can. I'm mostly just using units that I already have built, right? And then the rest of the team is very similar to all the other units I've been using. Nothing too different, right? Only Rilmocha is different, and these are her stats with my old Lian gear. And then the rest you've seen from my shell farming team. Now, additionally, I have cleared Aurora, which unlocked on day 4. I've only done hard mode. From Nightmare onwards, it starts to require more specific units. You need a unit that buff strips, ideally. You might be able to brute force it later on, but it's not too important to try to clear everything. Just clear as far as you can, just to get the first time rewards, and just leave it alone after that. Once you get stuck, then just focus on the other areas first. It's more important to do Dokidoki and Terramaton, in my opinion. For shells at least. Oh, sorry, for modules. Then GP Outpost, this will have been fully unlocked by, I think, day 3 for me. However, the higher stages are a little bit tough at that point. But just do the most you can, and only farm it when you need the essences to promote a unit, or to upgrade a skill or passive. And then you try, after you progress your units a little bit later, try to push them a bit more to clear the last stage, and then you're ready for the GP Outpost double resource event, right, which will be after the double experience event, and I will expect that to be in about a few days. Then also try to clear as much as you can in Ember Trek and Anti-Sync Echoes. They give you some nice extra bonus rewards, especially Ember Trek. You get these supply hub currency, which will allow you to roll on this. And there's a lot of good rewards if you can land on the S ones. These will give you an extra roll on an upgraded wheel with better upgrades. Oh, sorry, better rewards. I was able to get a red shadow print of one of these, and also about 400 crystals or something like that from one of the 2x rewards. So that's pretty great. And Anti-Sync gives you a lot of like some shells, and then some other like pulls, and these are the power supply packs, which are nice for just saving you some stamina, right, from having to farm the GP outpost stages. But yeah, you just want to clear as far as you can, and I believe Dali is also part of one of the hyperlink challenges too, so you definitely need to clear this. This is quite a gear check, so just be wary of that. But that is one of the goals. And of course, just do like your union boss and all that. Additionally, the RTA was unlocked, I believe, on day 3. This is the RTA, the middle one, and you will want to clear this a decent amount. You want to do these 20 participation matches to get these rewards. I believe these are probably seasonal, right? So you don't have to be in a rush to do it, but you know, getting these early is nice. And you also want to be doing your RTA every week anyway, because you get about, I believe, 100 points per win, or 100 shop currency per win, and there's a limit that you can obtain every week, which is 2,000. So you want to get that 2,000 every week, which you can do in RTA, or you can get them in the Fearless Arena. The Fearless Arena is only unlocked on the weekend, as you can see, and it's basically a tournament style RTA. There are additional quests in there which I can't show you at the moment because it's locked, but there is a participation one which you'll definitely want to do. If you participate in 3 tournaments, whether you win or lose, you will get a stamina potion, and you'll definitely want to clear that every week. So at the very bare minimum, just join 3 different tournaments, and if you just can't be bothered with RTA, exit out and you'll still get participation reward. But if you can be bothered, there's additional rewards for winning the championship, and also making it to the semi-finals like 3 times, I believe, and also making it to the finals as the runner-up. And yeah, you also the matches you win in the Fearless Arena will count towards your $2,000 currency earnings for the week. So you can sort of double dip it, and do that first, and then finish it off with RTA if you want to be time efficient, right? And of course, you want to clear your arena, right? So it's the weekly reset, and you'll get some bonus rewards. And now, like, the shop should reset, I believe. So you can buy some more stuff. You want to be buying this SSR lattice every week. This is your primary goal, and then try to get the other stuff if you can. If you have to, you may need to refresh and buy some extra tickets to get enough attacks to earn currency, but that's up to you. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm unsure whether like 7 weeks worth of just freebie tickets will be enough to get the perfect lattice, but I'll see how that goes this week, and we'll see by the end of this weekend. And that is pretty much what I've done for progression for these past couple of days. Now my next goal now is the next unlock is basically level 35, which will unlock Niconana for the shells, and also Hell mode for the modules, and that's where things are going to ramp up a lot more, and it may require a lot more development in units to push through those stages. But I'll let you know how that goes, because I'm still leveling up to level 35, and I'll have that probably in the day 5 review video, or maybe day 6. We'll see how we go. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.